Welcome to Diversity Conversations, where we engage in thought-provoking dialogue to identify leadership solutions to today's most challenging conflicts. Stream live each week, Saturday 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m., hosted by Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Strategist and CEOs Eric Ellis and Tommy Lewis. Join us and add your voice to this engaging diversity conversation.
Good morning, greater Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, the United States, and the world. My name is Eric Ellis. I'm the president and CEO of Integrity Development Corporation, and I'm joined this morning by my good friend and brother,
Tommy Lewis, president and CEO of Make It Plain Consulting. Good morning, Eric.
Good morning, Tommy. What's going on in Adidas? I see you, man. We're about to do it tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
We're going to get some chipping in today.
We do.
That's killing me.
Yeah.
I'm picking up so many strokes on chipping. I don't want to come out of tomorrow with 100.
Right.
Try not to get to 100. I want to get there age-wise, but I do not want my score to get to 100.
This is golf, not basketball, Eric. This is golf, not basketball.
You want the numbers? My numbers is creeping up, boy.
Mine are.
Like everything else, if you ain't eating right, numbers creep up. You ain't getting no exercise, blood pressure.
All the numbers.
Yeah, those are all bad. All bad. So I'm gonna go because nobody cares how you play. They don't see nothing good shots at the time. No. 105. 101 probably works. No, 100.
Right.
I'll take 99. I'll take 99. I don't like it at all. I really want to get back to the 80s.
Hey, get back to the clubhouse. Folks just got, squiggly lips.
And everybody sees it.
Everybody sees it.
Ooh.
Ooh.
He had a tough hole there.
Tough day.
I don't know all the details, but he got a 9 on the hole.
Right. We need to talk about the weather when we
or just get in the car. Depends. But I've gotten used to these big numbers now, and I realized that we had to stand next to the number and take a picture. You got to own who you are, man.
Yeah.
And I was telling somebody yesterday, I was telling my brother, I said it's a good thing to have to stand next to subpar performances.
Yeah.
And I realized that I haven't had a lot of experience with that we've been fortunate across our lives that for the most part, we've had a lot of success in a number of different things. And so when you have to show up, post a bad number and own that, that's a beautifully humbling experience that we all need.
Yeah, I think it's a lesson in life, Eric, that all of us are going to get to some numbers.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I think it's a blessing to get to certain age numbers,
mm-hmm.
right? When you get to 50, 55, 60, 65,
right.
70,
right.
75, those numbers are gifts.
They are.
Right? And there's some realities attached to those numbers. And if we could still find peace and happiness in those numbers where we are, I think we will be better off collectively and individually, right? It's just, hey, here's where my body is. Here's what it can do.
Right.
My mind remembers when I was 21, 24, 28. I was in my prime.
Right.
But my body says, no, you're at a different number, right? You cannot stretch the entire way to your toes, but you can go to your knees to maybe your thighs. So just take it there.
Right. Hey, but I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to put forth a challenge. Tommy, I'm going to challenge us to kind of join in this together. And I'm going to put forth this challenge to our community that I believe that the aging process, not the numerical aging process, but the physical and mental aging process, a lot of that is a choice. And I believe that we can make decisions that we don't want to cave in to our body's desire to do less. I know that, I said it to Judy just casually the other day, Tommy. I said, look, I think that age, because a lot of times you lose your desire to pick your knees up higher. You just start relaxing into, I want to, park my car as close to the door as I can, all those kind of things. And because you're saying to some extent, what's it all for?
Right.
And we knew when we were athletes and we were working out to jump higher, to run faster, we had an objective.
Yeah.
As you get older, if you're not careful, you start caving into those things. And mentally, a lot of you may not be reading as much, but I think that we have an obligation to keep our minds sharp and to keep our bodies sharp. Because Tommy, here it is right now. In this day and time that we live in, many of us, our children are if they're going to get married, they're getting married much older. And so we're going to be much older when they have children. And I mean, picking up a grandbaby, that's looking like a real task right now. Right. And so I'm going to say, Tommy, that's something that you and I need to join together in, is to get some kind of routine that we can just check in with each other and say, Tommy, are you stretching? And things like that. So that 3 days a week that we're working on that, I'm going to ask our community to join with us in that endeavor, because I think that we've got to be as sharp mentally and physically as we can. And it's not just to look cute anymore. It's really about life and the quality of life. And so I know that I do better in teen relationships.
Yeah, that's an excellent challenge, Eric. I appreciate that. I think that, and research also shows that in the mornings when we first wake up, we should stretch.
Okay.
Right. That our bodies are, for the most part, dormant. There's some movement, but we're not really moving. And so stretching in the morning, maybe grabbing some intentional, low impact stretches throughout the course of the day, and then close out. So it may not be that full back stretch right now, but when we're in that chair, go ahead and lean forward, get the back out, right? Go ahead and stand up, if you will. And so over time, we may not be back to our young 20s days, but we may stretch out a little bit of ourselves and then our own peace and understanding, and get our body remembers what it had.
Right.
It remembers what it used to be.
Right.
And sometimes we can be intentional to get it closer back to what we can work with.
Right. And I've even been dreaming, Tommy, about going back to a gym.
Okay.
And a basketball goal. Now, in my dreams, it's just me and the goal.
Yeah.
It ain't no people there yet. So I believe that is a good dream. It's a reasonable dream. It's not no people. It's me playing one-on-one with myself. And what I noticed the last time is that my three came down to a layup, and it was still, it's still like, ooh, all these muscles? It takes all those muscles to shoot a layup? Well, I took a lot of pride in scoring on people. It's a disaster right now. But I did have the dream.
Yeah.
In the dream, I was back.
You end up as a coach.
Coaching myself. Nothing but being a whistle. Line drill, Ellis. Okay. I just sit here with the whistle. And imagine myself doing with sprints.
Oh, man.
Talk about your week, man.
My week was good, Eric. But I do want to talk about, just very briefly, last night.
Okay.
I want to talk about last night in the NCAA women's basketball tournament Final Four. We had some great games.
Absolutely.
South Carolina versus North Carolina State. We had University of Connecticut, UConn, and they were playing Iowa. I will tell you that, Eric, two things. One, I travel a lot and I get on a lot of planes. And I'm very fortunate. I have been fortunate during this time where wherever I'm going, for the most part, I will see a basketball team coming through.
Right.
And you can always tell the college basketball team, they're wearing the same thing. Right. They have the headphones on.
Right.
They may have a small roller bag or a duffel bag, and they've actually had their, team, pack their larger bags. For the women in college, Division I, they're big women.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah,
Eric,
man.
I have walked by a women's team and realized that 6'7" for a man is 6'7" right?
Right.
As I'm looking up at 6 to 7 women, I'm looking up, right? And I realize, oh my goodness, and they're athletic,
Balling.
So they got the gait,
Right.
all that. And I go in my head like back in the day, boy. I was a point guard. I could do this.
Right.
I don't know.
They might be smacking.
They might be getting it.
Right.
They might be getting it.
Right.
Arms come in here, and then when they reach out, it's like, oh, that's 7 feet.
Right.
And so yesterday, watching the game, I have a great respect and admiration to the skill level, the intelligence, the competitiveness, as well as I would like to say naivete of young people.
I love that.
They're out there playing for the good of the game, the good of the team, for the championship.
Right.
And it's not about winning and getting money.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about the salary of getting paid to play.
Right.
Folks get paid for their likeness, but that's not getting paid to play. It's very genuine.
Yeah.
And last night, these women were balling.
Right. That NC State, South Carolina game, first half, I said South Carolina might go down.
Yep.
Because the guards for NC State were so cold. I mean, it was pop, pop, pop. Wham! What? That's how you going to do it?
Step back. Bucket.
Blow-bys.
Yep.
Shake you. That was one of my moves.
Yep.
Dip you and go.
Yep.
Get to the rim. You ain't even nowhere close. I said, it's going to be a long night.
Yep.
But I'll tell you what I love about that South Carolina game. First of all, I love Coach Don Staley.
Did too.
That's a bad sister, right?
Yes, sir.
She is a boss.
Yes.
She's a general. She don't take no stuff. And she loves those girls.
Yeah.
And she has respect for all women. And I see her, we now have a powerful Black female coach on a world stage teaching every single time she opens her mouth.
Yeah.
Every time. When she was being interviewed by her former player, Boston.
Yep.
Boston. And she was being interviewed by her. She was just complimenting her, saying, girl, we so proud of you.
Mm-hmm.
You look at you doing your thing.
Yeah.
And see, people don't see that enough. They don't see women of color, people of color that are admiring each other, complimenting each other, pulling for each other, having great values. She loves, her faith is important to her.
Mm-hmm.
She loves all the girls. She's winning, coaching for legacy of the program and the women that went before this.
Yes.
When she got on the panel with her, we just have never seen that.
Yep.
Somebody that just said, y'all making us look good. Y'all could do anything. When y'all all going into coaching?
Yep.
And I was just watching her swag, but I also was watching the technical aspects of a genius coach that knows how to put this away.
Yep.
She's like, no, girls, look, I don't lose.
Mm-hmm.
When you came to my program, I don't lose. And the way we don't lose is we don't play dumb basketball.
Yep.
So when I stand up here by the midcourt, you know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
Get that clock up out of here. Don't do nothing stupid. You know how I roll.
Yep.
Watched it.
What? Yep.
Put it away.
Third, fourth quarter.
Put it away.
Still coaching hard. She said it in the break that the team has a tendency to wane
when they're 20-something up.
Yep, 20-something up, and the coaches need to coach up. And so defense was their strength. She jumped off the bench that one time when the defense was breaking down later in the third, fourth quarter.
Right. No, we got this. What are y'all doing?
Don't do it. Don't do it. And the players, like
shot. Like if you was like that on a gurney, clear.
Right? Get you back. Boom. Oh, okay. We still playing. So, coach, you're trying to win this game and the next one? Right. We were just in the moment.
Right.
Look,
y'all celebration mode?
Celebration.
We don't do that yet.
We don't do that yet.
We got minutes on the clock.
Yep.
Masterful to watch.
Yeah.
And I just sat back. I love the notoriety that the women's game is getting. And hopefully the pay for professional women's basketball is going to be chasing this. We know that the cost to go to the women's games is now higher than the cost of the men's games. It's the talk of this March Madness.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, we barely know who's playing on the guy's side.
Yeah.
Because we're so interested in what's happening on the women's side. And now we have the game that everybody's in the world has been looking for. And I'll tell you what, I've seen all these teams now play their best and their worst. So yesterday's second half, I had not seen South Carolina play that well.
Yeah. That
was the best I've ever seen them play. And so the first half was consistent with what they've been doing in the tournament. Just kind of, up, down, but we saw some things featured. But and then Caitlin, we've seen Caitlin go from dropping 40 on LSU in the heat of things, dropping 40 to getting sixth first half yesterday, ended up with 21, turned into a dog down. But anything can happen.
Yep.
And so when they meet tomorrow, which we're gonna be out on the golf course, but I'll be out there with my phone.
Yeah, right.
This is going to be an amazing game. I like Caitlin. A lot of people believe that, the reason why the world is taken by her in part is because she's a white female, sort of with men, there was a great white hope. They see her as the great white female hope. I don't look at her through that lens at all. I look at Caitlin through the lens of, here's a powerful young woman who is a very gracious, she's very respectful of the game, of the players. She has some nimbleness with her language around race.
Yep.
She pulls for her sisters, she pulls for them. She doesn't allow people to just dog out, because what they've been doing with LSU, I mean, I don't want to go here today, but I'll just say that there is sort of crazy sort of racism and sexism that gets thrown at those young women.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just listening to some announcers yesterday on the radio, ESPN. I listen to these guys. They're hyped up, white guys. Usually they've had a lot of comfort and relationships with people of color, so they don't make glaring biased mistakes. But yesterday they were in it because they talked about the greatness of Caitlin and they were praising her. And then they said, but what's just as powerful as Caitlin, the grace and the power of Caitlin being our superhero, with every superhero, you have to have a villain. And then they described Reese as the villain.
Oh, wow.
And said, I mean, really? So it's just like, why? Why do we have to throw those things in there?
Yep.
But you know what? It's what happens when you get carried away with the narrative.
Yep.
And you have your unconscious bias that you don't even recognize. Because I've seen Reese as just a powerful player, but an encouraging player and a strong player and a great player for the game. And, but those are just some sidebars. Tommy, how'd your week go?
Yep. So I was just talking about the basketball game. We'll turn it to you for your week.
Yeah. And I don't have much to talk about in terms of my week either, other than I enjoyed this week as I do most weeks. I love the work that we get a chance to do. We're going to start doing some executive coaching and training with the Cincinnati Reds, so I'm excited about that. We have other clients. I had several meetings. I had one meeting with a tech firm, a DEI tech firm, Tommy, and we were talking about, pivoting and the, what does it look like for us right now in this current environment? Yeah. And they were struggling. And one of the things you've heard me say, Tommy, as a theme, and I'll throw this at our community, is I say that too often, most of us, are two things that I think we're experiencing on a regular basis. One is exhaustion. Yeah. Just every day you're exhausted. And so if somebody comes to you and says, hey, you want to join a movement? You're like, what? Yeah. Join a movement? Are you crazy? I mean, I can't get through my day. And so people are exhausted, for one. And then number two, many of us are just used to digging and working harder ourselves. In other words, we don't want to sit back and be dependent upon the rest of the world. Yeah. We know that we got to go get it. But I can tell you that simply trying to go get it by yourself is insufficient to get to where you're trying to go. In business, they say that only 28% of an organization's success is dependent upon the contributions of individuals.
Mm.
72% of their success is based on team and organizational effectiveness.
Mhm.
And so I think the same thing is true for us as diverse people groups,
Mhm.
is that we keep believing that if I just work hard enough myself, I can get there. And I'm saying we can't.
Yeah.
But it's so
Yeah.
tempting and it's so desperate. There's so much desperation around survival that you don't even believe anybody that says, no, stop digging that hole. Come on, let's talk about it for a minute. I'll give you one last analogy because I'm going to repeat these things so that you'll remember some of them. I got a revelation, Tommy, when I was doing a workshop a couple of weeks ago, where I got this revelation that people are not utilizing the full capabilities of their laptops. So I asked the question, I said, how many of you know that you're not using 50 to 70% of the capabilities of your laptop? And every hand went up. And I asked him, I said, how much time do you think you would save yourself in a year if you utilize the full capability of your laptop, all the shortcuts and everything like that? People said probably, a couple months. And an IT guy says, yeah, it's probably 2 to 3 months.
Mhm.
So we think it's a waste of time to learn all the capabilities and shortcuts of our laptop. And so we just go on with the limited knowledge. And then in 3 years, we'll trade up.
Yeah.
Don't even know how to use this one. I'm going to go get a new one. But the new features. What? You don't even know how to use it. And so I'm saying the same thing is true about people in organizations. I've had leaders say, I've got 120 people. Eric, I don't have the time to spend with getting to know each of them. I said, well, only get to know the ones that you want to be productive, to really deliver real results.
Yeah.
The rest of them you can ignore.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that doesn't make any sense. Right.
And
so I'm going to say to you all that we have got to make sure that we are intentionally, Tommy, again, something that we'll put on the calendar, that we got to check in and put time on thinking strategically about growing business, Tommy.
Yeah, we got to do
each week, man.
Yeah.
And not just talking about all the stuff that we're doing.
Yeah.
I'm so tempted and attracted to doing work that I do not spend enough time, even now, I'm getting better at it, working on the business and partnering with others, because people are the key to unlocking things.
Yeah.
I was talking to a DEI tech leader, and basically he was saying, Eric, I'm up against it so hard. I just don't have time to think about anything else. I said, well, that fits my motto.
Mm-hmm.
I said, and the reality is that it's hard for me to think about helping you because I'm trying to. So all discretionary energy I have, there's a temptation to only focus on. But I told him, I said, you know what? I said, what would you be able to do for me if I brought some real big investors to you? And I hate to ask it like that because that's not my character. My character is helping you discuss that.
Yeah.
But we live in a world of limited resources.
Yeah.
Limited time and everything. He said, Eric, I'm good with that. I'm a businessman. He said, I'm willing to give you stocks in the company.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to my resources now.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you access to some resources that I may need.
Yeah.
But I really believe, Tommy, that my job is to be a broker for a lot of businesses.
Indeed.
With investors.
Indeed.
Because it can help me. It can help them for sure.
Yeah.
But it's going to be hard for us to do it. But I'm saying to you all, make intentional time in your schedules to make sure that you're connecting with people and partnering with people, because it's the only way that we can get there. And I can promise you that we're under so much stress, so much pressure, that we're watching our country, the demise of our nation. We're watching our communities go to hell in a handbasket, and we're just sitting back, exhausted, throwing popcorn down.
Saying, I hope this ends well.
Right. I hope but you are going to the answer.
Right.
Oh no, not me. Are you crazy?
Not me.
I can't help saying that.
Hey, that's good word, Eric. Again, I am going to own my side in taking and accepting your charge.
Yeah,
I will. We gotta do it. That's one of, I think, the kind of fallacies of entrepreneurs, where once we have come to this epiphany to start a business, because typically we start a business, it's not necessarily just for other people.
Right.
It's here's an idea I think will help other
Right.
people.
Right.
Right. And I'm the conduit.
Right.
So we're always in that thinking, creativity, innovative mode.
Yeah.
And we're building. And we've always pivoted.
Right. Right.
And kind of on our own tricycle. Right.
Say it again. On our own tricycle.
Right. That's it. Our own tricycle. Right. Now we're big on our tricycle, and knees are high.
Right.
And we're still trying to handle it. Right. And we look to our left, and our partner is on a bicycle, if not a motorcycle.
Right.
Right. No, hold on for a second, because I'm going to figure this out.
I'm going to get as fast as you.
I am. I just got to work harder.
Yeah.
Look at me. Look at me. He's like, no, we have electric bikes now. We just, oh my goodness.
That's what our partners, the others in the community are doing.
Mm-hmm.
The dominant culture.
They are.
They got motorbikes.
Yep.
And they got, kites that fly. They got planes and all of that. And we watch their planes while we're on our tricycle. Talking about I'm about to get there.
Yep. And they ask questions like, where did you get that? Right? And how might we build better? Where did you get that bike? Where did you get that well-oiled machine?
Right.
Right? That's producing an outcome with managed, if not minimum, energy.
Right.
Talking about physical energy, right? And so we want to, I'm with you, Lydia, right?
That's me on the tricycle.
On that tricycle.
Right.
Right. Knees are high.
Right.
We're trying to get it.
Right.
And I think that now we have to have humility.
And
we're
getting something here today.
And we have to have some hope and faith.
That's right.
That in the partnership,
that's right, we
will not lose.
That's right. That's it.
And we not lose a little bit, but we won't lose all. That's not it. The faith and the hope is that it will get better. And 99% of the time, it will be better.
Right. Right.
The 1% that there's a crack, there's a lesson in learning about that.
Right.
But it's the other 99% that, I see it could be easier if we partner.
Right. Right.
And I can get off of this daggone tricycle.
Right.
Right.
Because I'm going to be real honest with you all that Tommy and I talk to each other often. And so when Tommy was telling me this week about a big opportunity that's about to close, I'm sitting there listening to him with all the excitement in the world. But he and I are both knowing the challenges that we face in this current environment.
Yep.
And so we're pulling for each other and we're looking to each other's eyes when we ain't talking to you all. Yep. And we know it's a beast of a world out there.
Yep.
And so we don't want to find ourselves literally narrating the potential funeral of each other.
Come on, Aaron.
Supporting each other on our way to a funeral.
Right.
And he told me about his success, and I felt every part of it. Like, oh, Tommy, I'm so happy I am. But we have not fully committed to Wonder Twins. Activate. And God is showing us a way through this.
Yeah.
Because there's some things that you do not just get by yourself. We say to companies, Tommy, that it's not a zero-sum game, because that's the way they look at it.
Yeah.
Is that to bring in diverse talent means you're going to have to lose white talent. No, it's not a zero-sum game. Yeah. If you bring in talent, the right talent, you expand the pie. And so that's what we're going to figure out. And I'm going to tell you this, our desire is to figure it out. Our need is a desperation to keep the lights on.
Yeah.
But God is the ingredient, is the additional ingredient that will help us find that pathway to the kind of collaborations that not only he and I need, but we need across our industry. Because right now, our whole industry is a bunch of solo acts.
Yeah.
Everybody just, it just doesn't feel like it's enough out there.
Yeah.
It is. We just have to put our different powers together and benefits from each other's stuff. And Tommy and I have the right kind of character and the right kind of confidence in each other that we don't worry about whatever else is happening in Tommy's life. He doesn't worry about it if he tells me something that I'm saying, hey, Tommy, why don't you give me all that? No, because we love each other and we're mature to a level, you know, and everybody doesn't have that. So that's a good foundation to kind of keep building.
So I got a quick statement and then a question. And I know we have some things to talk about today, but this is good. And thank you, audience, for chiming in. Excellent. Hey, what's going on?
See, baby.
So here's my statement and then the question. My statement is, as I share with you the good news about this potential long-term opportunity, I was thinking two things. One, there's some folks I had to bring on board potentially to the company that will literally be doing 90 to 95% of the work. They're driving to work. And the other thing I thought about is, in the same vein, how can you and I work together on that project? Because some of the work is consulting. And then some of the work is just really administrative, you know, put it out on LinkedIn, get the announcement out, all that good stuff. So I was thinking of that. Here's my question. And I don't want to go too far left.
But I like where you're going. I like where you're going, though. I like this.
So when you engage with a potential partner and say over some time, you've had some partnerships, and that is you've had an opportunity, you've brought them on board, right? They get, you know, they're 5 or 10%, they're doing their work, we're moving forward. That project sunsets, you engage in another project, you think of them, you bring them on board. And so now you're 5 years in. When there's an opportunity, you automatically turn to think about that person or that partner because they offer a particular skill set. Skill set that you might have, Eric. But it's better if they're doing it, you can do other things. Exactly. I said it before, Eric. Then when it's not reciprocated. So the partnership, from my perspective, doesn't always feel like a partnership in my definition. How do you, I don't want to say address it. What's your thoughts about that?
So my thoughts may be slightly different than yours, but my thoughts are very clear on this. Number one, when I think about utilizing somebody, it's out of a need for their service. So for me, that it ends there. It ends there. I have a need. The reason why I'm choosing you is because you can fulfill that need, which allows me to do other things. If you never call me back, that's fine. What I realized is that not everybody actually has the same kind of success that I'll have or that you have. So a lot of times they can't even, you know. Also, you and I now are a heavier lift. We cost a little more. So we're not entry-level fees. So Tommy don't call me because he can find somebody else cheaper to do that. That's what he's supposed to do. Understand that. That's what he's supposed to do. He's not supposed to call Eric over for a financial lift. I mean, come on now. You got to be flowing. That's when he really go call me and say, hey, look, because he's being overrun with some big money. And he says, I got something that can handle the weight of Eric and benefit from what he's going to bring for that. So that's what maturity allows you to do. That I see that Tommy's got a thing over there, but he's supposed to fill those up with as many people that don't cost what I cost. And then if it's an excessive type of thing, then he can call my number. But here's the other thing that Tommy can do with me, and he can know these are the conditions under which we partner. When he offers me something, I don't always say yes. If I can't do it, if I can't do it, I say, Tommy, I appreciate that, but actually, I'm not the best person to do that.
Yes, sir.
That's when he can come to me. But if I'm always saying yes, whether I can do it or not, and if I wanted to pay me big money, we just heard this in the acting thing with Taraji and all of them. A black person's trying to do a film, they don't have all the money to pay you. You complaining about that? Well, I mean, come on, now help them be successful. So there's a lot of complexities. It's like almost like a marriage. I tell my children that it's hard to find a significant other. It's difficult to find a friend, and it's not always easy to find people to work with. But the most important criteria for deciding somebody that you're going to partner with is that they have good character. Character doesn't mean that they're perfect in their lives, but character means that they have honor, they have integrity, they can say yes and no, and you can have a full-throated conversation with them around what you can pay them, which may be underneath, because I'll do things for Tommy just because. So Tommy says, this is all I got, that's what I'm going to do too, you know, and we work that way with each other. If I couldn't offer Tommy something that's below his rate sometime, then I may not ever be able to offer anything until we get to bigger places. So there's a lot in that, Tommy. I appreciated that example because it allows us to teach our community around the character of business and partnering and what makes it difficult for people to ever partner.
Yeah, that was excellent for me, Eric. I mean, oh, you don't know how good that was, because I've had kind of a duality of thinking about partnership.
Right.
And I need to kind of pull back. My thinking about partnership with you in anything is unthought of.
Yeah.
I don't think about it.
No, we're good.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that is how I've been defining partnership, that it shouldn't be, critical on the bottom line. It shouldn't be this. It should be out of integrity, out of shared resources.
Yeah. And it
shared
makes
outcomes.
sense. Right.
But in reality, for me, as I close out, I hire certain people to do a certain job. And that could be a person or a business.
Mhm.
And that's what I should expect from it.
Right.
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 Because
That's it.
Yeah,
Good job.
just
That's
do
what
the
I'm paying
job.
for. Right.
And
if nothing else ever happens from it.
That's it. And they
Right.
do the job and they do it well.
Right.
But then I turn around, with some personal stuff like, what about me? Throw me a bone.
Right.
No,
right.
you didn't hire me to give it back. Yeah. So we can turn that into, blessings and favors. So do you give someone who's in need of $1? Do you give them $1 expecting them the next time you see them or they see you, they are going to give you $1?
That's right.
Short answer is no.
Right.
I see that you have a sign, you're of need.
Right. That's good, Tommy.
I have abundance. I'm going to give it to you. We're good.
Right. Right.
I am also faithful that God knows my heart. And I do know, Eric, that he rewards me tenfold.
Right.
So things that I haven't really worked for,
That's
they
it.
pop up.
That's it. That's it. Say that again, Tommy. Say that again. He rewards me tenfold.
Tenfold.
So I may never get it from you.
Yeah. And I need to say every day,
Right.
thank you.
Right.
Right. Some of this stuff I work for through a RFP proposal or through this referral. Some opportunities, Eric, someone just threw me a couple of dollars.
Right.
Because where they were sitting, Eric, they were looking at me, not in my position, but in my energy, my spirit, like, oh, Lord, I need some help.
Right.
And their energy said,
right.
I see you.
Right.
I see you. I feel you. Right.
Right.
And boom, throw me a little $20, 20,000, say,
yeah.
Oh, that covered mortgage.
Right. Right. I need that.
Rent.
That's right.
Like, Lord, like, yeah, just a little thing. I've had that happen a number of times.
Exactly right, Tommy.
And say for this little work,
right.
Because I could do this because I could.
Right. I got that.
Yeah. Oh, I'll stop there.
Yeah, but that's an important thing. And I'll say one other thing about Tommy and I, our character, and about the concerns that others have. We've been in this business for a long time. We've established reputation for a long time. Sometimes people may not call upon Tommy and I to help because they're concerned that the client may like us more than they like them. I'm good with that.
Yeah,
I'm good with that. The beauty of Tommy and I is that if I ever do anything on behalf of Tommy, sometimes Tommy's like, be your thing. Yeah. Sometimes it's, hey, be a Make It Plain partner. I'm never going to ask Tommy not to be CEO of Make It Plain, but he's here as a, senior consultant with integrity, but also as CEO of Make It Plain. But I have no fear that Tommy's going to go in there and if somebody say, "Ooh, Tommy, you're way sexier than Eric. I like you." Tommy's going to say, no, that's my boy. Anything that you want to do, you got to run it past him. If he ain't good with it, then I ain't good with it. That's how we are. So we have a high level of trust that each of us is going to be respectful and honorable, even in the other's client. Yeah. That's saying a mouthful. I mean, we had to do a whole show on that because most people ain't there.
Yeah,
they're not there. But what we wanted to do today, and actually our time has got away from us, but I'm going to tell you this, that we are going to spend some time now on this theme around happiness. And I was looking at some research from a guy named Sean Acor. And he talks about that the fact that many people, especially entrepreneurs, believe that if I'm successful, then that will bring happiness, when just the opposite is true. In other words, if you're happy, it will lead to greater success. So I want you out in the community to take some time to hold those peas in your mouth. That many people, their entire lives, they feel like the reason why I'm disappointed, I'm discouraged, I'm depressed, is because I haven't experienced enough success. And if I were like as successful as Tommy Lewis, I would be happy too. No, that's not the way it works. It actually is the reverse. And you want to focus on being happy first. And then happiness unlocks some things in your mind that allows you to access creativity, innovation, ideas, energy, positivity that turns into positive work habits as well. Mm-hmm. So, Tommy, there are 7 or 8 of these themes that this person has identified, And I want to just sort of go to a couple of them and ask you your thoughts around them. Only 25% of job success is based on IQ. Some of you may have heard that before. 75% is about how your brain believes your behavior matters, how it connects to other people, and how it manages stress. Wow.
Yeah. So Eric, I understand that, because what I think about is, for myself, when I was working a job, my happiness was internal. It came out of my interest of excellence in what I did.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's day in, day out, day in, day out. I was called a company man.
Mm-hmm.
I was trusted, I was reliable, I was honest, and full of integrity.
Mm-hmm.
And so with the work that I was doing on different projects, my happiness is I'm doing it.
Right. Delivering.
I'm delivering. Just like as an athlete, I used to work out to perform in the game. People would come to the game and see me performing, to see me doing certain things and maybe a nice play that had folks stand up, but they didn't know that I was happy in the practicing of that shot.
Right.
And I was hitting the shot.
Right.
Hitting the shot.
Right.
So in the game time, when it came time for it, I hit the shot. I'm like, yeah, I practiced that like 1,000 times.
Right. Right.
I'm already happy. You're jumping up for joy. Great shot. And I'm like, yeah, I thought about it and I delivered it.
Mm-hmm.
Just like in golf.
Mm-hmm.
I visualize it, execute.
Right.
The happiness is I visualize it and I did what I thought I could do.
Right.
That's in the rigor of the discipline and regularity. And so that is what really was my happiness, is that the work, it was really my work ethic.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was me being myself.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And what I love, I'm going to stick with the golf analogy, is that you can't lie to golf. Golf knows whether you're happy or not.
It's unbelievable.
And when you're happy, which means you're calm, you're expectant of positive things to happen, you're enjoying the day, then golf says, I'll leave you to perform the golf moves that are necessary to be successful.
Yeah.
But as soon as you get stressed, as soon as anxiety takes over, as soon as you start thinking about more of that, then this, it says, well, we in the trees.
Yeah.
Here's what this says. Here's what the research says. The research is clear that every time you have a success, your brain changes what success means. So in other words, your brain is like, well, that's over.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that anymore. What? Well, no. You're never going to be happy.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Because I'm going to keep changing the definition of success. So that means you have to then embrace happiness first. And then that will lead to success. And that success is not your fundamental foundation of happiness. Happiness is that. And so it says that that's what happens to a team. So for you and your team, if happiness is the opposite side of success, you'll never get there. But if you increase your level of happiness in the midst of a challenge, in the midst of searching for investment, in the midst of a down economy, what we find is that all your success rates rise dramatically. So your success rates go up dramatically if you start with happiness.
Eric, once again, wow. I was conducting a executive team retreat with a client of ours that we've had for some time. And the executive team only consists of 5 people, right? And there was one individual who's joining the team. They're new to the team, like 6 or a little bit less than 9 months to the team. And when we were in the mountains of Virginia, as we started the 2-day retreat, CEO and another person, they all had these inside jokes. They were bantering with one another, and we were just in a small room, just the 6 of us all together, 5 of the leadership team and myself. And I couldn't stop laughing because of their banter with one another.
Right.
I knew they trusted one another.
Yeah.
I knew they understood the limitations of the banter.
Right.
And even the CEO, he had a couple of slick remarks.
Right.
And the person he was talking to would crack up laughing.
Right.
And I was laughing like, I got it too.
Right.
The newer person, I was observing her, and she is new, so she doesn't have the inside joke. And she was polite. She was there looking with attention, but she wasn't smiling or laughing. She was really trying to figure out, is he serious?
Right.
Or is she playing?
Right.
Or what? The 4 of them were happy, right? We come to realize that the new person she was unhappy because she felt that she was not included in the group.
Right.
An outsider, not just in that moment, but the 9 months prior.
Right.
And so I reframed real time in my head a couple of activities to move to some happiness activities to gauge one's happiness. What makes you happy, right? And we were started to talk about that. We went down memory lane.
Okay.
What makes you happy?
Okay.
And then that elevated folks like, oh, I can talk about or double click on my happiness.
Right.
And my happiness is not because of you.
Right.
I would actually like to share my happiness with you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what will make me happy.
Right.
Not you making me happy.
Right.
It's me sharing my happiness. There's a difference.
That's
there.
good, Tommy.
Right. And because I'm a person, Eric, contrary to what some people think, Eric, because I'm a thinker.
Preach, bro.
I'm disciplined.
Right.
I am very happy.
Right. Right. Oh,
I am.
We have a ball.
I am very happy.
Right.
I laugh, especially with you.
Yeah.
But I'm a happy person.
Right.
I'm very happy when there's a problem or a challenge with a couple of individuals or a group.
Right.
And I'm asked to be a part of the solution.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah.
You say it's the end of the world.
Right.
Bring it to me.
Right.
I take it.
Right.
It energizes me that it's not the end of the world.
Right.
And we're going to get through this.
Right.
We will.
Right.
Because I am what he made me.
Right.
And so I would say that with teams, the team effectiveness, sometimes a reset and a reboot, it's around, I think, is connecting individuals to themselves and allowing them to uncover their inherent strengths. And once other people see that, then they can say, yeah, I can see that strength in you. And I don't have it, but how do you have it? Right. Oh yeah. I don't even think about it. I just, I wake up in the morning like, hey, let's get it.
Right.
I wake up in the morning, my back hurts or my neck hurts, or I got to respond to these emails, or there's a problem. And then now I have a furrowed brow, and I wake up in the morning every morning. I'm just like, what the hell is going on?
Right.
That's a mindset.
Right.
I wake up.
That's a choice.
That's a choice. I wake up in the morning. Hey, it's Saturday.
Right.
We're going to have this conversation. We got the community.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
As Eric says, it could be just you and me, and we're good.
So here's an exercise I'm going to give you all. I'm going to start with it. I'm going to ask Tommy to do it as well. That we find that more learning happens not from hearing simple information, but from doing.
Yeah. So
the doing transforms our brain and helps us to engage in the greatest learning. And so here's what I'm going to give you all, community, as a challenge. I'm going to invite you to get a partner sometime throughout the day and to take 2 minutes, each of you, and describe a meaningful experience that you had over the last 24 hours. And maybe one that has brought happiness to you. And I'll start with one, Tommy, that I was in a discussion with Judy, and discussion/argument. We started off just talking about the times that we're living in and talking about Stephen Miller. And so I made a comment about him, and then she made a comment about him. And then all of a sudden, I got a revelation that I thought was an insightful revelation. And when you're ADHD, if you don't say it, it's like it'll get away, and then it gets lost. And so I was like, oh, I don't want to listen. So I said something, and then Judy took exception to that, as she often does, in saying almost like, well, you changed the subject. Like I was talking about something, then you changed the subject to something else. And I was like, in my mind, I'm gonna let you all in on the mind. I was like, why does Judy always do that? Conversations are organic. They just evolve. And, you might say something and I may, stack that and, change it, transitions, and then she kept saying her point 3 to 4 times, which is it's common in our disagreements. And then God gave me a revelation. He gave me a revelation that what I did, so Judy was making a comment that I had already made. And I said, literally, without me knowing it, Tommy, I said, no, but. Like, no, that's not it, but. And I didn't even realize that I said no, but. And she didn't call me on that. God showed me that I did that. And I said, oh, and so it was like an unlocking a major key in our common misunderstandings. What I realized is that in my family, that's what we always did. You weren't even speaking to the person's point when you said no, but. You were saying, hey, but I got an exciting new thing. And I told her, I said, Judy, I said, I just realized that what you've been reacting to is my words that said no, but.
Wow.
And I said, the reason why you have to say things 3 or 4 times is because I've never acknowledged that I said no, but. And so, and here's the thing I think that was so powerful for me, is that our ego can talk us into being victims. And it never puts us in the central role of the problem part of the communication. And I got that revelation, and she just,
Yeah.
because she thought he's trying, because now, once I got the revelation, now I'm,
Yeah.
now I'm trying to get in contact with this guy. It's insane. She said, no, I know that move.
Yeah.
You're trying to argue. Another point from Eric. You keep score. No, this time I got something. And she was happy to hear that finally I did have something. That was more than 2 minutes. Tommy, you got one?
No, that was good, Eric.
Right.
That was good.
Right.
I think for me is that I had the opportunity to go back out to Durango, Colorado.
Okay.
And so we're wrapping up the academic year with our client who's in education. I love the client, Durango School District 9R, Superintendent Dr. Chesser. I've got my contact, Dr. Giddens, all these good folks, real good people.
Mm-hmm.
This time around, was able to take my wife, Penny.
Okay.
And we go out, typically land and kind of spend like 5 or 6 hours kind of decompressing before I have to go to work.
Right.
So I go to work the same day I land.
Mm-hmm.
And then typically return back the next morning. But this time we I extended the stay for an extra day. So we had a full day, and we decided to go out to a place called Mesa Verde. And where, for those who are less familiar, it's in the southwest region of Colorado near Durango. It's the ancient indigenous natives who built homes in the cliffs,
right,
in the caves.
Oh, wow.
And they date back a few thousand years. So they said it's about an hour and 15 minutes away, hour and a half away. And basically you drive about 45 minutes, kind of working up to the mountains. And then you have to go to the mountains.
Okay.
And I have driven through mountains before,
right,
in Colorado, in Virginia, West Virginia. And for those who have not driven in mountains, you realize it's not a hill. It's winding,
scary.
It's scary. It's steep.
Right.
You look to your left,
right,
and it falls 100 to 1,000 feet.
Right. Scary.
Right on the right, there's rocks that are falling.
Right.
It's all that good stuff. And so as we're winding up, I'm paying attention. It's narrow. You got to kind of wind, right?
You got all my attention.
And I'm looking kind of like 100 feet to 200 feet ahead of me. That's where my focus is. So I'm not white knuckling it.
Right. Close.
But I'm close. So I'm just going with it. Right. I can't see anything.
That's right.
My wife is in the passenger seat looking out.
Oh, okay.
So when we make a bend around the turn, she looks out and you can just see literally a state away. Right. And she gets discombobulated. I'm focused on the road.
Right.
I'm just right here, Eric. And if you could imagine being on a roller coaster, making the first incline, getting to the top, and you see the entire amusement park.
Right.
Actually, you see the entire state that you're in.
Right.
And then you start to go down and your eyes focus on the tracks. Imagine getting to the top, seeing the open, going down, you just see the open. Make the turn, you just see the open. So everything you see is like, when are we going to fall off?
Right.
And my wife experienced some anxiety.
Right.
Unbeknownst to me. I was happy in myself that when she first said, Tommy, I need you to slow down. I just slowed down. Usually, Eric, usually,
I got this. Let's go.
I got it. I know my turns,
Right.
Whatever. Going 35, 40 miles per hour, getting in the lane. It says speed limit is 45. I'm at 45. I'm hitting it. She said, slow down. I slowed down to like 30 miles per hour.
Mhm.
And when I slowed down, I could see clearly, right? Because when I'm going 45, I got to hug.
Right.
I'm going 30 miles per hour now. A couple of cars come behind, I move over, let them go.
Yeah.
Right. And my happiness that I experience is I can do. I hope that makes sense.
Something that's different than what my standard is.
Yes.
And that's it. That's significant.
That's it.
Yeah. Those are insights.
I can respond.
Right.
So she said, slow down. My behavior was, I can. Where otherwise,
right,
it would be, I got it.
Right.
Not I can.
Don't tell me how to drive.
Not I can't help you.
Right.
Don't tell me. No, I just.
Right.
Sometimes we have to slow down and smell the roses and be happy.
Well, man, Tommy, what's going on, man?
Hey,
we didn't say when you get older. Christmas comes every other week. That's what Tommy and I are saying. I mean, these shows are just flying by. We really appreciate you all for joining us today. Next week, we're going to change our time. So I believe we'll start at 11 o'clock next week because we're going to be at a Building Generational Wealth Conference. We've been invited to be there, Tommy and I. We'll have the show there. That means we'll have you there. So Terry Cooley, it'll be later for you. So now you don't have to get up at 6 a.m. To be following us the show. We're going to be a couple hours later, hour and a half later. And again, want to thank you for joining us. Tommy, last words?
Yeah, again, I just want to reiterate the next week's show starts later. We may run a little bit longer,
right? Because
we'll be having some impromptu interviews. That's our expectation. We'll be talking about wealth. We would like to invite everyone to spread the news about next Saturday's show.
That's right.
Because it's not just us. It will be some experts who are coming to this conference to talk about wealth.
That's right.
And so we want to do that. I would like to also invite anyone in the Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky area who's interested in the HR space, human resources. I have an opportunity that has come my way for a director of human resources, and we're looking for talent. And so I would invite you all, if you yourself are in this area, or you know someone that is, to simply reach out to me. Sorry for the plug here, Eric.
Oh, no, bro. That's what I'm supposed to do.
You can reach out to me at info, I-N-F-O, at MIPCLLC.com. That's info at MIPCLLC.com. We're looking for talent to fill this director of human resources position with a fantastic organization. And so with that, I would like to say thank you for joining us again on this installment of Diversity Conversations. We'll see you next week at a different time, but same bat channel. Take care.
Take care.